Hello and welcome to the Traveler's Nutrition Guide. It's been asked, and of course, I try to deliver what is being asked. So nothing is ever perfect, so this is as much as experience that I can put into traveling and nutrition. So obviously there is some physiology notion, there is some logistic notion. Of course, if you are a real traveler, like we had a few people in the group, and they did an amazing job, and you have something that you wanna give me as a feedback to improve it, is always accepted. As far as I can know, and as far as what logistic makes sense, this is as much good and greedy detail that we can find. So you can literally start off obviously by doing the hard thing, the difficult thing, and obviously pack stuff like specifically how you see it. Yes, this is actually really funny. This is actually even a cool picture to show. But what shows here is literally packing stuff and bringing it around. Obviously, easier way to do it would be to pack, for example, protein, either shakes, small little snack, protein powders. This could be an idea for you to do the job. Now, what you want to know is know your limit and obviously going from hard to easy. You can literally come up with a delivery system. There are specific delivery systems that not only prepare the food for you, that deliver it to your house, but also that it's going to put you in a condition that you can actually bring the food with you. Or if you prefer, obviously, as you learn, you can always know how to meal prep. You can put in little containers and you can carry it around. That would be obviously a little bit more hard, but would definitely pay off a lot more than just simply go around and obviously make it difficult for you. So this is the hard to easy way to do it. If you can manage, this would be actually really cool. Know your surrounding. Obviously, what you want to know, you want to find out if you don't know yet your surrounding. That means know where you're traveling. So some people, for example, travel Europe. Some people travel not only Europe, but travel overseas the world, travel US, travel Asia. So you want to know whatever you have around you. You want to find out that. And if you obviously make a Google search on a map, you will find tons of organic, tons of obviously healthy choices that you can go. So the first thing you want to get into the place you're getting, even before getting there, you want to Google what are the healthy restaurants that you're going to be going to. And specifically, if you're going only to fast food, or if you don't have time to eat, you want to maybe find bakery, you want to find buffet restaurant that you have. You want to be having a choice that you can make in choices. You want to be empowered. Obviously, you want to take some time with this. You want to be in control of obviously what you're looking for. Next thing is obviously logic choices and reading menus. So first of all, you want to be choosing, as I said, the right restaurant. So if you know that you love Italians, you're going to be paying attention to the salads in Italians. You're going to be paying attention to the seconds. You're going to be paying attention to what is the entrees, such as meat, fish, and obviously, if you can, do not choose Italian, right? Because the Italian is specifically known to have a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of fat. So if you can choose something else, logic and obviously logic choices mean choosing something else, right? In this case, seafood. If you surround yourself with seafood, chances are you will eat something healthy. Specifically, if, for example, if you travel US, there is tons of healthy and cheap, very affordable seafood choices. Most of them, if you can find in the menu, create your own. As you create your own, you just simply put the knowledge that you acquired in this program and create obviously your choices, right? You wanna take as create your choices if you will be cooking in the house or if you would be in a healthy restaurant. So you just wanna put obviously your vegetable, your one portion of carb, your proteins, right? You want to choose the right things. That's the important things, right? Portion distortion. So what you want to pay attention to the restaurant, obviously, is the size. As we said several times, the size is king. Calorie is king. And of course, if you know that this amount of calorie is even eating bad, eating fast food, if you can eat less, you know that you're taking in 600 something calories instead of 1300. Is basically the half right? So at the end, you still get results anyway. So even though you might not feel really energetic, or you might be feeling a little groggy because it's not healthy food, and what the quality of the food you're putting in still matters, still you're not gonna get fat, or you're not gonna maintain if you want your shape. And this is where the logistic and the critical thinking comes in. If you can do well when you're traveling, so let's say that if you can manage the portion when you're traveling, even though it cannot be perfect, you're still not getting, you're not gonna lose the results you gained, and your motivation will stay up. And if the motivation stay up, it's okay, because you might be in a situation that you travel all the time, so or you travel often. So if you have 2 weeks that you can do at home, you're gonna put the maximal effort over there. You're gonna get results in these 2 weeks. Then if you gain back maybe 200 gram or half a kilogram when you're traveling, because maybe you cannot really manage, the pressure is too high, the workload is too high, it's okay. You still can find ways to manage pressure, right? So if you cannot go healthy and your craving is too high and you need a burger, just make sure you're reading how many calories is into the burger. Use some critical thinking, so you know that you need to hit 1500 calories, not because it's traveling that they become 2500, it's always 1500. So you're just gonna use critical thinking, and you're gonna make sure you're getting those calories in. It doesn't really matter where it comes from, because I told you tons of time, your body doesn't think in nutrients. Actually, your body doesn't think in ingredients, your body thinks in nutrient and in macros, right? So if you can put in those macros coming from a burger or coming from a sweet potato, of course that you're gonna feel something different. Of course that you're gonna see maybe some less water retention, but you're still not gonna, in the long term, get fat. That brings me exactly to the restaurant, paying attention not only how much you're eating on the size of the plate, but on the size of the actual food. You're gonna have restaurants, specifically fine dining, bringing you over very, very elaborated food, right? Maybe even overpriced. And then, of course, the plate is super large and the food is very little, and it make you have a sense that you're eating a lot. Contrary to that, you're gonna have regular portion with feel maybe like a full mountain of food, and you're not realizing that it looks like it's only like a small plate, but you're eating a lot of food. So pay much attention to what the optical illusion tells you, and how much is the food. If you can look at the menu that is going to display the calorie, is always going to be a useful tool. First of all, not only to eat less, but to learn how many calories correspond to what. Again, what restaurants give you sometimes, again, pay attention one more time to the portion, not only if it's like only protein, if it's how many vegetables is included, how many carbohydrates is included, if you can ask before order, obviously. You still want to be paying attention when you are in a restaurant of what you're doing, like you would be doing on the rest, right? So you want to be paying attention to if you are a mesomorph, or if your body type tell you to eat in a certain way, you still want to be paying attention to the right things, right? Not, like I said, not because you're in a restaurant that you're going to lose your habits. You still want to be in your mind having the two feast of vegetable, one good portion of fat, one of protein, and one of complex carb. If you have like a healthy body composition, otherwise you look for whatever you have, whatever your body type tells you, and you adjust it. You look at the menu and you ask your waiters or your waitress to bring you that particular food. So how to act in the table, right? So how you're gonna make it more to make sense? How is it gonna become good? How you're gonna keep yourself awake? How is it that you're not gonna have this feeling about after the restaurant you're gonna fall asleep? And how you're gonna manage your body composition? First of all, what comes first is, in this case, a protein-based food. So what comes first, you should actually see what in common kitchen, or in common specifically Italian food, is come a second, right? So a protein base, which is usually a second, is for you gonna be the first. So you're gonna start with the first. So the amino acids which are included basically on the protein is gonna make sure that you feel fuller longer, and it's gonna obviously contribute to the fact that you're not gonna want to eat dessert. So you're gonna start with a second. You're gonna go with a carb base if that's what you need. Carb base, maybe if possible, that are gonna come from complex carb. So specifically, obviously, sweet potato or potatoes or brown rice or some healthy choices of carbohydrates. So what comes second is usually what it would be the first. So protein first, carb second, and as a third, if you're really, really hungry, go back to an appetizer. Ask for the menu one more time and go back to an appetizer. There is a reason why the traditional kitchen tells you go with an appetizer first, carbohydrate second, protein third, and then of course you want to hit the dessert, because the appetizer and the carbohydrates get your insulin to rise up, so it gets you to want to eat more, and necessarily when you get appetizer first and second and dessert, now you're eating up all a bunch of calories, right? So you probably get to around 2,000 to 1,500 calories. Why, if you do what I've just told you to do, you're starting with a 350 calorie food, you get back to carbohydrates, which is another 350, and most of the time you're gonna stop at 750 calories for a meal, right? Which is a lot, but it's okay. If you're still hungry, you might get to 1,000 calories if you're eating your appetizer, but very, very seldom you're gonna feel like eating dessert, right? So this is a strategy I came up with that obviously the critical thinking and the logic and the physiology tells me to tell you, because naturally you're gonna feel less, you're gonna feel fuller, you're gonna feel satiated, you're gonna feel more awake, because now the amino acids of the protein is now getting effect. And if you can, of course, between the protein and the carbohydrates, you wait about 10 to 15 minutes, which is usually logic, because most of the restaurant, by the time you're finishing, you're gonna have the second food, but it will have passed at least 20 minutes. What can we get away with? This is very interesting. As I said before, stress relating or job relating problems make you eat bad sometimes. What we can get away with, I'm gonna tell you now how to associate the food or not associate the food, and what can we really get away with when you eat bad. So first, we want to have an understanding of what means carbs, protein, and fat. You should have already by now, but you want to have a specific understanding on specific food that include both. So some food includes carbs and protein, some foods include fat and protein, some food includes all three. And basically, I want you to pay attention to what includes fat and protein together. So if you include carbs and protein, is okay. If you include just protein, is also okay. If you include just carbs, it's okay. For the most time, if you include fat, if you don't do in excess, is okay. What you really want to pay attention to is the combination of carbs and carbs and fat, which means obviously the sweets, which means pasta with a lot of sauces, which means those bakery things that obviously everybody loves, but those are responsible not only to an increase of calorie, an increase of fat, and obviously an increase of getting fat. So what can we get away with, right? So obviously the logic, but not only the logic, obviously the notion and that everybody understands about nutrition will tell you that under 500 calorie or under 600 calorie, more or less, you can pretty much mix and match what you want. So you can have 45% or whatever, high carb, high fat, and low protein. If you are under 500 calorie to play safe food, and if you're still on a lower caloric deficit, you will do fine. So it doesn't really matter if it's like a burger, it's okay. Just obviously don't overdo it. But if you're 500 calorie, and if you're still on a negative energy balance, you will do fine. If you are from 600 to 900 calorie, fat, protein, low carb option will do better for most people. So again, if you're exceeding in calorie in a meal, this is always about talking about a single meal. If you're exceeding 600 to 900 calorie, so more than 500, I would suggest you do protein and fat. It will make sure that you feel fuller. It will make sure that you have enough protein, and you will not that you will not spike insulin as much as to make you in this meal assimilate all these kind of macros. Lastly, if you are over 1,000 calorie, I would suggest you just choose one of the three macros, either only carb, either only protein. I wouldn't do 1,000 calorie of fat, but if you really, because it's really hard to eat only fat. But again, if you are doing so, I really suggest you just take one macro, which is carb or protein, or really if you haven't already hit the daily calorie need, you can also do fat. I don't know what you're gonna eat, maybe 1 or 2 avocado, but I really not suggest you just do fat. Some diets really tell you to just do fat, like keto diets. You could potentially, for example, just do an avocado with on the side, I don't know, tons of whipping cream. But still, like you wanna just single-handedly choose one ingredient, one macro, because that will make sure, obviously, not to get many chemical processes to take place in order for you to store the food. What I would suggest you actually do is go with carb. Specifically, if you worked out the day before or the day off, you go with carbs. Your body will compensate really well carbs. Carbs is the one that you can actually still get glycogen repletion from. You can get a really good compensation, and for the most part, the excess of carb, you will make sure you keep high your thyroid hormone, you will make sure you keep high your leptin level, you make sure you keep high and make sure you replenish the glycogen level. That will make sure that you have the protein synthesis, that will make sure that you have actually the muscle and building the lean muscle that you need. So if I would have to choose 1,000 calories in a meal, I would definitely go with carb. Become resourceful, right? Get a hotel gym. If you have to travel, get a gym with cost a little bit more. Get a hotel that costs a little bit more, but with a gym, right? This shows an amazing hotel in Miami with gyms. So I want you to go ahead and look for a hotel that have a gym. Since you have to travel no matter where, and if you have maybe 10-15 minutes in the day to spare, you're gonna go into the gym, you're gonna do a very high interval kind of workout. This picture shows a bench. This shows a treadmill. You can potentially do hyperextension for the back. You can do some steps. You can do some jumps up in there. You can go for a 20-second run or a minute run on the treadmill, and you can go back and do this station for about 3 to 4 times. This shows you 15 minutes of it, which I just literally came up to doing this video, right? So be resourceful. I don't want to listen to an excuse. If you have the energy, if you have 10 minutes, you can still put this 10 minutes towards the workout. These are some of the interesting resources I came up with and I actually know from actually using it myself. So Yelp, obviously Google, those one you know. You're just looking for healthy choices on Yelp. On the bottom you see Healthy House, which is actually an amazing application that I'm not sure if it works only in US or in the rest of the world as well. But by putting the zip code or the address or the city, it will come up with how many dish you have on the 5 mile surroundings that you can actually use. So if you have a healthy restaurant, it will tell you maybe 12 dishes. If you have a McDonald's, it will still tell you like those 1 or 2 dishes with salads that you can actually eat, right? So this is an application you want to pay attention to. The other one is called Vanilla Bean, which is probably the European version of it. They are still, I believe, building up one application. I mean, they're still building up. For now, it tells you whether or not the restaurant in your surrounding is a vegetarian, is a healthy, is a organic, is a bio, and whatever, and whatnot, right? So I want you to pay attention to this too. And if you find something better, just give me the feedback. It will actually help. And this could actually be a potential idea to build one in the future. This is actually a pretty cool way to get people accountable, to give information, and to know where they should be eating. So hope this was helpful, and I talk to you soon.